Welcome to Arcade Audio.
Ladies and germs, welcome to Dilettante Ball. I'm Johnny.
I'm Spencer.
Here on Dilettante Ball, we go on Wikipedia.
We click on our article.
And we talk about it. Very.
I've been speaking a lot of Japanese, so my English is a little...
In Japanese, they do stutter a lot.
Yeah,
it's part of the language.
Yeah, it's very...
It's a stutteral language.
It's funnier and stupider than it should have been. Johnny, I got good news for you.
Oh, the good news?
Have you heard the word of God? This is even better than the word of God. It's the word of...
I'll believe it when I see
an
it.
iTunes review.
Okay.
We got a 5-star iTunes review.
That's my God.
It is my God. And it's from Camiconical. It's our friend Cameron.
Okay.
Who's chosen a username that I can't pronounce with my English tongue.
English? You mean your Nippon
my
tongue?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yep, that tongue. You know, Nippon and Nihon are both in use, but one is just slightly more like you'd use Nippon on like the money. It's like the difference between like USA and United States of America. It's like hardly a difference, but there's like a slight difference.
The weirdest thing about...
We're never going to read this review.
We're never going to do anything, and that's fine. The weirdest thing about being an American is that that's the whole continent. That's two continents, saying you're an American. And like other languages have a word that means like United Statesian.
Sure.
But we don't.
Well,
we would say American.
Yeah, that's true.
But like Canadians are also Americans and Mexicans are also Americans.
I know that when I went to England, I was told that it would be considered like a little rude if someone were to ask you where you're from and you said, "Oh, America." People would be like, "That's kind of fucked up." So the proper thing
US.
to say would be, "Yeah, from the States." Is one of the things you could say. Yeah, but I remember learning that, being like, "Oh yeah, I guess it is kind of like big-headed." You'd be like, "Oh yeah, I'm
America."
I'm from America.
Yeah,
yeah,
the big middle part.
Yeah. Hey, forget about it. Canonical. He says, this is his title. Great for my commute.
Anywhere else? Garbage.
and he starts off with a correction, which I want to remind everybody.
Yes,
we
please,
need more corrections.
If you're going to write a review, you have to correct us in it.
And so the review says, just FYI, Lord Voldemort's name origin doesn't really translate or localize into other languages like Japanese very well, so they mostly just use the English explanation. J.K. Rowling's wordplay was too strong.
We actually, right after we recorded that episode, we looked it up, and the phrasing was so good.
The Wikipedia article
the
for
explanation, it was like this. The wordplay simply does not work.
Like literally, it was word for word. The wordplay simply does not work. He goes on to say, I just started listening from the beginning and been listening as I come out at the same time, so I've got plenty
the Harry
to
Potter
listen
books?
to.
Oh,
I think he's talking about Harry Potter books.
Us.
I think it's his boy Stephen Fry.
Thank you.
My commute to work is about not the other guy,
Jim Dale.
Thank you. My commute to work is about 30 minutes one way, so I love that I can finish an entire episode of these boys good goofs. These boys good goofs. Before I reach my destination. They're both really funny on their own, but together they bring out the best in each other and have a chemistry that makes me smile every time.
Aww.
I'm going to take that and use it for my vows when we get married. Thank you very much, Canonical.
Yeah, thank you. That's very sweet.
Very lovely.
Our love is just short enough that I can enjoy it on my commute and never have to think about it again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty great. You can knock 2 out in a day.
Oh, yeah. On one way there and one way back.
Yeah.
That's super easy.
And, if you want to move farther away from your job, you could maybe get 4.
Yeah, I mean, balls in your court. I mean, sky's the limit as far as the number of podcasts of ours you can consume on your daily commute.
One more thing I'd like to talk about is we did a little live stream on Twitch of the fucking awesome game Dream Daddies.
Which you probably didn't hear about because we didn't mention it and we didn't really know we were going to do it.
Yeah, we kind of just did it.
Yeah. So if you follow us on Twitter, you knew about it.
Yeah, but that's it. But if you want to follow us on Twitter, get at us. It's at DILETTANTEBALL. And we played Dream Daddies, and it's on Twitch. And
Dream Daddies was very good.
It's so good. And we will play it again at some point. Just to give you a little taste. Wait, should we say? I feel like the name of our daddy was a good reveal, but I feel like it's also a good taste of what we had going on.
I was going to do the exact same thing. Like, I think it's worth bringing up who we play as.
Our daddy's name is Bad Goku for real. So, if that sounds fun to you,
yeah,
check it out.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all. You want to get an article?
Yes.
You want me to get an article?
I would love for you to get the article this time.
Thank you. Whoa. This is pretty rad.
All right.
Sitting Bull.
Oh, cool. That is rad.
Sitting Bull. And
Man,
then,
this is maybe the best actual article we've gotten.
I know, for real. And then it has the Lakota word, which I
Couldn't even begin to.
Also nicknamed another Lakota word, or slow. Oh. Who lived from around 1831 to December 15th, 1890.
Okay.
Was a Hunkpapa Lakota holy man who led his people during years of resistance to the United States government policies. He was killed by an Indian agency police on the Standing Rock Indian Reservation during an attempt to arrest him at a time when authorities feared he would join the ghost dance movement. I don't know what
Holy
that is,
shit,
but
that entire sentence was so rad.
That sounds fucking tight. Rad, he's rad. You're on his side, I assume.
I'm on his side. Yeah, no, fuck the government.
Yeah.
There was an entire agency devoted to fucking over the Indian people, apparently.
And he was like,
he was like, no, I'm gonna go ride. I'm gonna go ghost ride. What's he doing?
They were afraid he would join the ghost dance movement.
Ghost dance movement.
Wish that we didn't have this rule where we can't click any links.
I know, we're never gonna
so
find out.
tight.
God damn it!
Before the Battle of Little Bighorn, Sitting Bull had a vision in which he saw many soldiers as thick as grasshoppers. Did grasshoppers used to be different?
Yeah, they used to do a lot more squats, and their booty was on point.
Falling upside down into the Lakota camp, which his people took as a foreshadowing of a major victory in which a large number of soldiers would be killed. About 3 weeks later, the Confederated Lakota tribes with the Northern Cheyenne defeated the 7th Cavalry under Lieutenant George Armstrong Custer.
Oh my God, so cool.
On 25 June 1876. Interesting that an American did not write this article.
Yeah, really though.
Or maybe it's not interesting because we just don't talk about it. And someone else was like, y'all, you should talk about this.
Well, I know the only thing I know about Sitting Bull is that exact
Exactly.
thing. Do you know how many people on the Custer's side? You know how many survived the attack?
300.
Nobody.
Whoa.
Except for one horse. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Which is pretty fucking crazy.
Annihilating Custer's battalion and seeming to bear out Sitting Bull's prophetic vision. Sitting Bull's leadership inspired the people to a major victory. Months after the victory at the battle, Sitting Bull and his group left the United States for Wood Mountain in the Northwest Territories, now Saskatchewan, where he remained until 1881, at which time he and most of his band returned to the U.S. territory and surrendered to U.S. forces. A small remnant of his band under Wanblee G. I don't know how to pronounce it. Decided to stay at Wood Mountain. After working as a performer with Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, I just read Devil in the White City, and it talks a little bit about Buffalo Bill. And it's
does she show up and do some?
I mean, he's like, hey, can I be part of the World's Fair? And they're like, no. And he's like, okay, I'm just gonna do a thing.
I'll be over here.
Yeah, like, and then apparently some people like just saw Buffalo Bill's show and were like, dang, the World Fair was tight, and then just left. Yeah, it was a great book. Everyone should read it. It was fantastic. Come for the murder, stay for the architecture.
That's what they say about Chicago.
Sitting Bull returned to the Standing Rock Agency in South Dakota because of fears that he would use his influence to support the ghost dance movement. Indian Service Agent
They're gonna keep teasing us with that.
I know. James McLaughlin at Fort Yates ordered his arrest. During an ensuing struggle between Sitting Bull's followers and the agency police, Sitting Bull was shot in the side and head by Standing Rock policeman.
Bury the lead on that one.
Lieutenant Bullhead. Oh fuck! Wait. So that guy was Lieutenant Bullhead was a Lakota, and Red Tomahawk was also a Lakota.
And they're both on the side.
After the police were fired upon by Sitting Bull's supporters, Sitting Bull was shot in the side and head by Standing Rock policemen. So, I assume that it was
like a Lakota who like jumped ship.
Accidental. Do you think they jumped ship, or like it was like accidental in the
melee of the?
Yeah,
maybe.
After the police were fired upon by Sitting Bull's supporters, his body was taken to nearby Fort Yates for burial in 1953. His Lakota family exhumed what were believed to be his remains, reburying them near Mobridge, South Dakota, near his birthplace.
Man,
that's wild. Ghost Dance Movement has a section in this article, and I'm gonna hop to it. So there was the Ghost Dance Movement was a religious movement from Nevada eastward to the plains in 1889 that preached a resurrection of the native. This was a time of severe conditions of harsh winters and long droughts impacting the Sioux reservation. It was known as the Ghost Dance movement because it called on the Indians to dance and chant for the rising of deceased relatives and return of the buffalo. When the movement reached Standing Rock, Sitting Bull allowed the dancers to gather at his camp. Although he did not appear to participate in the dancing, he was viewed as a key instigator. Alarm spread to nearby white settlements as the Sioux added a new feature to the dance, shirts that were said to stop bullets.
Holy shit.
Dang. That's wild.
Man,
And
okay.
I mean, we learned approximately none of this
No.
in school. I mean, speaking for myself anyway. I don't know about you, but...
I mean, I don't know if I learned it in school, but I know that General Custer tried to fight Sitting Bull, and Sitting Bull whooped his fucking ass.
I believe that was his last stand.
It was Custer's last stand, as we found out from many cartoons who have Custard's last stand. I don't know. I've seen it around.
Yeah.
It's a good joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know any of that shit, man. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
I can name like a few like Indian tribes and like one or two dudes.
That's about it.
You know,
Yeah.
But yeah, like I know there was like an Iroquois Confederacy up in like the Northeast, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, what did they do? Couldn't tell you.
To be honest, the biggest thing, because I remember in school we had like, you know, in elementary school there would be like a unit on whatever, and there was a unit on Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
The preferred
what is the
nomenclature?
yeah? Honestly, what is the
Couldn't tell you.
First Nation?
That might be a Canadian thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're all Americans. So the thing that sticks with me most was I remember there was a word search
Okay.
that was like Sioux, Iroquois, and I remember learning about different types of houses or
sure.
dwellings.
Right.
So like teepees and pueblos.
Sure. That's
That's
it.
about it.
I think that there was like, I don't remember where it was. It couldn't have been on its own, but maybe like as a part of, this can't be right. Uncle Donald's Farm maybe had like,
I don't
that
know
might
what
not
this
be.
is.
That's like in Central Florida. There's like an actual, well, not an actual shit. What was it? It was like a farm that you would go visit like on a field trip.
Oh, okay. Sure,
And you would
sure.
learn about like, goats and how to milk a cow and, how crops grow or whatever.
Sure. Crop rotation is important.
That's apparently so. So you don't want to wear the soil out. Duh. Gotta get that
Gets
nitrogen
tired.
back.
Gets tired.
And there may have been like a little area where there were like actual like native dudes who would like give demonstrations of like some sort of dances or whatever and talk
Sure.
about their culture. All I remember is I bought a sweet tomahawk from the gift shop.
Yeah.
So I mean, on one hand you give and the other take out of the way.
There was a Pioneer Arts Settlement. It's actually on the way to Gainesville, our college town, from my hometown, and I took field trips there as a kid, and most of our field trips were garbage.
Yeah.
Like that was like pretty cool because there was like Pioneer stuff, and I believe there was also like some Native American stuff. Just like this is how people lived.
Sure.
200
This is a
years
covered
ago.
wagon.
Yeah. Conestoga.
I was gonna say Ticonderoga, and I was like, that's not right.
That's a pencil. That's my favorite pencil.
I mean, it's known as
the
the
only
best.
one.
It's the best.
We took like every year for all of elementary school, we took a field trip to Publix, which like Publix is tight.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a grocery store chain in Florida, but
How much can you really get out of that year after year?
and it was like this is the back where they
Where
grind the
shipments
meat,
happen.
and this is where we make peanut butter and whatever. And it's like
I definitely did have a Publix field trip, but I was in kindergarten, and we did it once, and it was tight.
we also took a field trip to the Daytona Museum of Natural History multiple times.
Okay.
And the thing that stuck with me, which I am positive I have said this on the podcast before, they had a giant ground sloth.
Okay. Yep.
And I was like, that's tight.
Pretty tight.
And we went so often that we got conflicting reports as to whether or not it had retractable claws. And I still don't know to this day if giant ground sloths did or did not have retractable claws.
They really failed you, I think. Then some
Yeah.
field trip.
Failed trip.
I remember going to museums like that, and they would have like displays of like, this is what Florida used to look like, 10,000 years ago, and here's what it looks like now. Well,
Swamp. Both swamp.
but also like the coastline, like the crazy amount of like erosion, where it's
Oh,
like,
sure.
oh, Florida really like literally will be wiped off the face of the earth at some point, I just remember being like, oh man, this is pretty cool. Like, let's do it, man.
Let's get rid of it.
Yeah, let's get rid of it.
Yeah, if there's one state that we could lose, I feel like it's Florida.
Yeah, and no one would even bat an eye.
Well, I could think of a few worse states.
There's a whole handful.
But
of
that one's the easiest one. To start with.
Well, yeah, because if you just like start with like West Virginia or something, you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Well, there's a giant lake there now.
Yeah.
Like, West Virginia would not be at the top of my list, I don't think.
No, it's shaped kind of like what is it shaped like?
A chicken
like
leg.
a chicken leg? Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But then
So what does that have to do with it? They can stay because they have a good shape?
Yeah, I guess. What do you think the best state shape is? I'm sure we've gone over this.
None of the squares.
Episodes.
All the squares suck.
Yeah, I mean, Colorado's easily the worst because it's straight up a square.
I mean, my favorite series of states is there's a whole bunch of states on the border of the Mississippi River that look like a man with a hat. That's pretty good. Idaho is always pretty fun. It's got a skinny little dude going on.
I think Texas has a good shape. There's a lot going on there.
Texas feels like the most American shape.
It has some straight lines. It has some wiggly lines.
Yeah.
It's got it all.
It's really
I think New York has a pretty cool shape, and it's also got a little tail, which is fun.
The tail is good. I like the tail.
Yeah. I was born on that tail, baby.
Yeah. Yes, I think Texas is probably the best state shape wise.
Yes.
Yeah. Hawaii's maybe the most fun because it's like, what is this thing doing with us?
Friend of the show, friend of us, Andrew Kidd, just sent me this article, and I forget what the thing was called, but it's basically there are these like two islands between Alaska and Russia.
Okay.
And like one of them is American and one of them is Russian.
Okay.
But then in the winter, like an ice bridge forms. So it's
weird.
illegal, but you can just like walk from America to Russia.
Is there just like some dude like in a parka with like a little tiny stand just sitting there waiting to
like
stamp your passport?
Phantom toll booth?
Yeah, exactly.
I have no idea. I mean,
it had to be two, one for both sides.
It's the same guy.
Yeah,
and he just like
changes his hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he fixes little kiosk and moves it.
It like folds into a briefcase.
Back
which
in
is
5.
like wild.
Is there like a name for it, or is it just like a tiny little
there is a name for these islands.
Okay.
I forget
but
what
they're not like countries or anything.
No, I mean it's part of, I assume, part of Alaska and part of whatever the easternmost Russian state is.
Nah.
I assume Russia's divided into states. Most places are states of some sort.
Sure.
Provinces,
counties,
prefectures. In
chomes.
In New Orleans, they have parishes instead of counties.
Yeah, I don't know what the difference is.
Nothing.
What? Is parish French for county?
No, I think it's probably more of a church thing.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, stupid. Paris and parish. There's got to be something there, right?
No. Doesn't have to be.
Not everything has to be a joke, dude. Yeah. Man, I took a BuzzFeed quiz yesterday.
Yeah.
And they were asking me all kinds of personal questions, dude.
What was the quiz? Like which
MySpace would you be?
Okay. Which iteration of MySpace?
Yeah, or like what kind of MySpace would you have? And it was, and some of the questions were fun. Like who, like of these choices, who would be in your top 8? Like which of these glitter graphics would you have? And then like one of the questions was like, how would your friends describe you? And so I really had to do some like soul searching and be like, this is how I would describe myself, but I don't think my friends would say this about me.
Sure.
And I was like sort of like, I had to just like sit there and just like stare out into the middle distance.
BuzzFeed did
I'm taking the stupid BuzzFeed quiz.
Like which house are you in Hogwarts, but like by percentages.
Okay.
Those always mess me up a lot because it's just those are very introspective, and even the official Pottermore quiz is like very much.
Yeah, you really like take stock of your life.
Yeah. Do you know what you are?
Pretty sure I'm Gryffindor. Yeah. Although I think maybe the quiz has changed since they
have there in the last year or two. There's been a revamped.
So who knows?
Quiz.
I may not be correct anymore, and I don't know what American house I'm in or whatever. I don't know what my Patronus is.
Speaking of I'll say I was Slytherin both times, and my Patronus is a black and white cat, which is pretty good. Yeah. I don't know if you read the Ilvermorny like origin that she wrote on Pottermore.
No.
It's
Ilvermorny is the American Hogwarts.
Yes.
Equivalent.
It's kind of a bummer, and
Really?
it actually relates back to our article.
Oh, I remember there being some people up in arms about her writing like.
It's pretty colonial.
Okay.
It's basically like, oh yeah, a bunch of Native Americans like could use magic and shit. But they just weren't smart enough to make a school until the British came along.
That's a shame.
Yeah. So the school was like founded by some dude who went to Hogwarts.
Well, I mean, as far as American history, or as far as the world history goes, that's the same shit that happened.
Well, you don't think they had some sort of...
I'm not saying that she should have wrote it that way.
No, but
I'm just saying
what
she
I'm-
like straight up like lifted real history and just made it magical.
Well,
It doesn't change that it's fucked up.
I disagree because I am sure that they had some sort of education system. You know, like they were teaching.
Sure, yeah, I'm not disputing that.
So
Well, and it also kind of goes back to like, well, I don't know what I'm talking about because they didn't teach me shit about Native Americans.
Sure.
You know,
I mean,
maybe they had fucking colleges and shit that I just don't. You know,
I don't know. They had like a university system, but
Yeah, I picture,
they had pretty robust cultures that I think
yeah, sure.
Get glossed over pretty regularly, and I think this story does the same. Rather than like, oh
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying she's right for doing it. I'm saying she's done the same.
she's doing the
bad
same
shit
thing that everyone else
that
has
has
done.
always happened forever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, it was just very. It was very weird because it's just like, oh, they were just using magic and they didn't really know what they were doing.
Yeah, there's like raw magical powers. And they didn't,
Yeah, and when it could have just been like, oh, they had a fucking school.
yeah, easily, right.
Because why not?
Yeah, yeah, that's weird. They should make that choice. And also, it's like you're British, so like you better get your fucking shit on point, dude.
What is that?
Like you're so far removed from anything about knowing
Oh.
about Native Americans. Like
I mean, they I wouldn't be surprised if
they know more than we do.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, this article was not written by an American.
based on the date. It could
Yeah.
have been written by a Canadian.
That ain't an American.
Smell you later. Anyway, I'm ready when you are.
Oh, to start the show. Weird. I feel like you don't usually. I feel like I just do it.
I know
and
you
I
do.
don't usually give you the okay, and it feels weird. I feel like I need to catch you off guard.
Thank you for playing Arcade Audio. Play more at arcadeaudio.net.